I think this might be your last oversight hearing. That's Senator Cory Booker talking directly to Kash Patel in a hearing. Not a headline, not a leak, an actual sentence said on the record by a sitting senator predicting Patel wouldn't be around much longer. I want to spend real time on this today because I think predictions like this get treated way too loosely in coverage of this whole saga, either repeated as if they're basically confirmed or dismissed entirely as empty political theater. Neither one is actually accurate. A prediction made in a hearing is a real, specific kind of statement, and it deserves to be understood for exactly what it is, no more, no less. 60 minutes today. Let's work through this carefully for both officials. Fast version. Both Patel and Bondi have, across separate hearings, faced pointed and sometimes personal criticism connected to their handling of the Epstein files, personnel disputes, and document compliance. Separately from any of that specific testimony, there's also been public reporting and political commentary speculating about their job security more broadly. Today, we're separating those two categories cleanly because they get blurred together constantly, and that blurring is exactly where misinformation tends to creep in. Booker's actual prediction, restated in full, exactly as said. Here's the full context of what Booker actually said, not just the one line that goes viral. After a lengthy adversarial exchange covering personnel decisions, aircraft usage, and the broader Driscoll lawsuit, Booker closes with, "I believe you have made our country weaker and less safe. I don't think you're fit to lead the Bureau. But here's the thing, Mr. Patel. I think you're not going to be around long. I think this might be your last oversight hearing. Donald Trump has shown us in his first term and in this term he is not loyal to people like you. He will cut you loose." What kind of statement this actually is? Let's be precise about what this is, because precision matters enormously here. This is explicitly framed by Booker himself as a prediction, built on his own read of the broader political relationship dynamics, not a claim of insider knowledge about any specific decision that had already been made. He's not saying, "I have been told this is happening." He's saying, "I believe, based on how this president has treated people before, that this is where this is headed." That's a real, meaningful category difference. A political forecast from an opponent, however confident it sounds, is not the same evidentiary category as a confirmed personnel action, a leaked internal memo, or an on-the-record administration statement. Predictions like this are common in adversarial hearings made by members of both parties about officials of every administration. They shouldn't be weighted as evidence of anything beyond the speaker's own assessment at the moment they said it. The separate reported tension and why it deserves its own, more cautious treatment. Separately from Booker's prediction, some reporting circulating in this broader story describes unnamed sources suggesting White House frustration with Patel connected to a series of unflattering headlines, potentially affecting his standing. This deserves real caution, and I want to be specific about why. This is attributed to anonymous sourcing, not to any on-the-record confirmation from the White House, not from Patel himself, and not from any hearing testimony we've reviewed. That's the same evidentiary category we've flagged before on this channel with other anonymous-sourced claims. Credible enough that a real outlet reported it, not independently confirmed enough to treat as settled. As of any point we're covering, Patel remains in his position. That fact alone should keep any "he's about to be removed" framing firmly in speculation territory, not confirmed fact territory. Why anonymous political standing reporting is genuinely hard to verify, explained properly. Worth explaining exactly why this specific category of claim is so difficult to responsibly evaluate from the outside. Reporting on internal White House sentiment toward any specific official relies almost entirely on people close to the situation speaking without attribution, often because they'd face real professional consequences for speaking on the record. That reliance on anonymity is a legitimate, common journalistic practice. It also means outside observers, including us, genuinely can't independently verify the underlying sentiment the same way we could verify a public statement, a court filing, or a hearing transcript. Responsible handling of a claim like this means holding it as reported, taken seriously by credible outlets, not independently confirmable from here, not treating it as either fully true or dismissing it outright. Connecting this to Bondi, since the same dynamic shows up around her, too. Worth bringing Bondi into this comparison directly, because a similar pattern shows up in coverage of her tenure. Multiple hearings include pointed, personal criticism of her handling of document compliance and redaction failures, genuinely sharp exchanges, some of which we've covered in previous episodes on this channel. Separately, broader political commentary and reporting has speculated, at various points, about her standing as well. Same rule applies here as with Patel. Sharp criticism in a hearing is real testimony, on the record, and deserves to be weighed on its own merits. We've done that across several previous episodes. Broader speculation about her job security when it comes from anonymous sourcing or political commentary rather than confirmed administration statements deserves the same cautious treatment we're applying to Patel today. The settlement detail and why it actually complicates any on-the-way-out narrative for Patel specifically. Here's something worth bringing back in that actually cuts against a simple "he's about to be removed" reading. Separate reporting indicates Patel's office has since settled with some of the originally fired agents from the Driscoll lawsuit, reinstating them with back pay. That detail is worth sitting with here specifically because it suggests an official actively managing and resolving legal exposure connected to his tenure, which is a different posture than someone who's simply being quietly pushed out. It doesn't rule out either possibility, but it's a real concrete action that complicates a simple narrative in either direction, and it deserves to be part of the full picture rather than left out because it doesn't fit as cleanly into a dramatic prediction. What would actually confirm a prediction like Booker's, and what wouldn't? Worth being explicit about what kind of evidence would actually move this from speculation to confirmed fact, because I think that's a genuinely useful mental checklist for evaluating any political prediction like this, about anyone. What would confirm it? An actual on-the-record administration statement about a personnel change, a formal resignation or removal announcement, confirmed reporting with named sources describing an actual decision, not just sentiment. What wouldn't confirm it, no matter how many times it gets repeated? A senator's prediction, however confidently stated. Anonymous reporting about frustration or distraction without an actual described decision attached. Political commentary speculating based on general patterns of how an administration has treated other officials in the past. Right now, based on everything we've reviewed across this whole series, we have the first category, predictions and reported sentiment, and not the second. That's the honest, complete state of this specific question. Full fairness pass, both officials. All right, real pushback applied even-handedly to both. On Booker's prediction, predictions made by political opponents in adversarial hearings are common across every administration and every party, and shouldn't be weighted as evidence of anything beyond the speaker's own read of the situation at that moment. Being wrong about a prediction like this doesn't discredit everything else in the same hearing. Being right wouldn't retroactively prove the hearing's other, separate factual claims either. They're independent. On the anonymous reporting about White House frustration. Anonymous sourcing is a legitimate, common journalistic tool, and its existence doesn't mean the underlying claim is false. It also genuinely doesn't mean it's confirmed. Both officials remaining in their roles at the time of any reporting is itself a real, relevant fact that deserves to be weighed alongside the speculation. On the settlement detail, reinstating fired agents with back pay could reflect genuine institutional accountability and course correction, which is arguably a point in favor of stability rather than instability, complicating any simple narrative in either direction. What people who actually study political communication say. Political communication researchers who study adversarial hearing rhetoric note that predictions about an official's job security delivered at the close of a hostile line of questioning are a common rhetorical device meant to signal confidence and land a final memorable point, not typically based on privileged insider information, even when delivered with total conviction. Media literacy researchers on anonymous political standing reporting specifically emphasize the same standard we've applied across this whole channel. Credible sourcing supports taking a claim seriously and tracking it, but it's a different evidentiary category from independent confirmation. And conflating the two is one of the most common ways political stories get overstated in either direction. Real talk. Why this actually matters beyond these two people. This matters because learning to categorize political statements correctly, a prediction, an anonymous report, a confirmed fact, is one of the most useful transferable media literacy skills there is, and it applies to literally any official in any administration facing any kind of speculation about their future. The instinct to treat a confident prediction as though it's already happened is exactly how misinformation about personnel changes spreads, regardless of which side benefits from the rumor at any given moment. What to actually watch for next? Watch for any actual on-the-record administration statement regarding either official status. That's the only thing that would move this from speculation to confirmed fact. Watch for whether Booker's prediction specifically gets referenced again in a future hearing, which would tell us something about whether the political dynamics he described are actually playing out or not. And keep tracking the Driscoll lawsuit and the broader personnel record we've covered across this series. That's where actual, confirmable developments are most likely to surface first. That's the honest state of this specific question, a real on-record prediction, some separately reported speculation that deserves real caution, and no actual confirmed personnel action for either official as of anything we've reviewed. I think that's a more useful place to leave it than pretending we know more than we actually do. Subscribe if you want the next update the moment anything here actually moves from speculation to confirmed fact. Drop below. Do you think predictions like Booker's are a fair, legitimate part of adversarial questioning, or do they cross into speculation that doesn't belong in a hearing? Talk soon.